Hello everyone. So today we're just going to be starting the project. We're going to do the project over 3 days and this is going to be the first day. And so a couple videos ago I showed you how to do this, and so what we're doing here is we're importing the class flask from the module flask, and then we're saying app is equal to flask of name, and then we're saying app.root, so this is like the URL slash or like the home page, and we're making a function, and that function makes the web page say hello world, and then you just run it. So and this line of code runs it, sorry. And then now let's actually just run this one time. So open it up and it says hello world. And this isn't really a good way of making a web page by saying return and something. Web pages are normally made using a language called HTML. So let's make a new file and let's name it tasklist.html. And instead of saying return hello world, let's make it use the file tasklist.hello.html to make the web page. So we're going to say new, and we're going to say HTML file tasklist.html, enter, and it's going to say, do you want to add the following file to Git? I'm going to say no, because I want to use the terminal for that, because it just makes it a little easier for me and not as confusing. So we can pretty much just delete all of this and just say that there. And we don't really need doctype HTML anymore. So now let's just say hello world here. So we don't have to put any punctuation or quotation marks, because this is text. You don't have to do anything. And now here we're going to have to say render template. So what this does is that it kind of just runs this in the function. It runs this whole page in this function. So we're just going to say return render template of, and you have to put this in quotation marks, task list .html. And that's pretty much it. And now when we run this, open it up, we get an internal server error. So basically something went wrong. And that's because whenever we make this task list.html and we use the render template, render template looks for a directory called templates and then runs and looks for this file in that templates directory. Since that we don't have a templates directory, it doesn't know what to do and it gives us an error. So now what we need to do is we have to make a directory, and we have to name it templates, and we have to put tasklist.html into there. So we can say refactor, and now if we run it, it should give us hello world. And now let's actually make a task list, not just saying hello world. So the way we do that is by first making a table. So here we're going to tab and then say less than table greater than, and then just hit enter. And here we're going to have to make a new row. So we're going to say tr, and in this row we're going to have to make a header. So we're going to say th, and we're going to say tasks. So this is going to make a row. So this is like the title for our table. So that's what header means. It's just like the header for the table. And this is going to make a row for the headers. So let's just make one row for the task name. So let's just say name here. And then just let's make 2 columns today. So the first column is task name. and the second column is going to be the is done. So true or false is done. And just like that. And now let's make another new row. So this is going to say tr again. And let's say td. So this is like a new column that's not a header. So here, let's say walk dog. Let's copy that. And just hit enter and paste that. And let's change this to true. It's done. And actually that's fine. Let's just say walk dog and true. And now when we run it, we'll get a very ugly table. Task name is done and walk dog is true. And to make this a little prettier, let's just say table, we'll have borders. So table border equals 5. So now when we run this, it's just a little prettier. So we actually have a header which is bold, and then walk dog true is done true. And now every time, this is also a pretty horrible way of doing it, because every time we want to make a new line, we have to copy all of this and then paste it, and then we say wash dishes and false. And I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty horrible. So a better way to do this is by actually making a list. And this is also how we're going to be doing it with a database, because when we look at the values in the database, we don't just copy the values from the database and then just paste it by ourselves. We're actually going to have to do it automatically. So a little bit of a better way to do it is by saying task list is a list, and then we say is equal to, of course it's a list, so we have to use brackets, square brackets, and then a list. Each task is also going to be a list because each task has a name and it has a is done value. So the name is going to be walk dog, and this is going to be true, it's done. And let's just copy that, and this is going to be false and wash dishes. And let's do one more. Let's call this take out trash, and let's also make this a string. And finally, let's just say true. So these are going to be the 3 values. And also we want to be able to use this list in here. So first, let's just delete everything below that. So let's delete all of this. And let's just make this tr. So now we have to be able to iterate each of these lists into a row where this is in one column and this is in another column. So the way we're going to be doing that is by using a for loop. But even before we do that, we also have to be able to use this task list variable. Let's just make these lowercase. This task list variable able to be used here. So the list, sorry, not a variable. And then the way we do that is by saying task list is equal to task list. So this task list is this, and this red one is going to be able to be used here. So just to make that a little less confusing, let's rename task list to capital T and capital L. So now we're going to have to be using this capital T, capital L task list. So first we're going to be making a for loop, and in that for loop, we're going to have to say this, and then percent for task in task list. And let's put that there. And percent close. So that's how we say for task in task list. And then we're going to have to put tr and make sure that it's like this. So this is making the row. And then in that row, we're going to have 2 columns. So let's just copy that. And remember that each task is also a list. So we're going to say task, or actually we have to do this to use the variable. So we're going to have to say task and then index 0. So we're going to say 0. So this is going to be the name. We're going to have 1 column for the name and then 1 column for the is done value. So we say 1, close it, and like that. And then every time we're done with the for loop, we have to say end for. So the way we do that is by saying this. Let's just close it as well. And we have to say end for in one word. So let's see what we're doing here. So first we're making a table with a border of 5 pixels, and then we're going to have or not 5 pixels, but 5 in HTML terms. And then we're gonna have 2 headers. One is task name, and then the other header is done. So that's like 2 different columns with 2 headers. And then we're making a row here, and in that row we have 2 different columns. So the first column is going to be the name task of 0, because if you remember, 0th index is going to be the first value. That's the text. That's the name. And the first index is the second value, which is the true or false. And then we're going to close it, and then we're ending the for loop. And it's going to do that for loop 3 times because we have 3 different lists. So let's just run that. And if we open it up, we get walk dog true, right? Because we had walk dog is true, wash dishes is false, take out trash is true. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about how to actually connect to the database and do all of this instead of making our own list. Because every time someone puts something in the database, we're not going to add it to a list and do it. So now, and then we're also going to learn how to select all from the database and read it out loud. And then the video after that, I'm going to be showing you how to delete values using the web page, and also add values using the web page, and update values using the web page. But that's going to be all for the project for now, and I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be next year on January 2nd. Bye!